And live we are again. Excuse me. Hello. This time, having gotten our plus 10, it's time to immediately then leave Blighttown. Minutes after we arrive, going all the way back up that annoying little bit. Let's take on New Londo. As said last time, we are not going to be bothering with Great Hollow. Nothing really in for us from that. And we don't want to kill Quelaag yet, because, well, then Lautrec might do something funny, wouldn't he? Since we, in theory, left him alive. That would make doing New Londo a bit difficult. Moreover, we want our plus 15. New Londo itself is not actually all that difficult. The ghosts can be annoying, but good armor and a transient curse renders them pretty non-threatening. In the Dark Race, as long as you have any idea of what you're doing, really, are actually pretty simple to deal with. Parries, backstabs, or, as we'll probably be doing, just hitting them with the Zwei. That'll do the trick, no problem. We're also not going to go down any of these little side paths on the way up. There is some decent stuff for us there, but the best thing we could get, the Firekeeper Soul, would also trigger Lautrec a bit. And we don't want him getting triggered now, do we? He might even cancel us if we did that. God. And honestly, you're not supposed to be getting a plus 15 until probably post Anor Londo. At least with the way the game's set up. But the game does allow you the freedom to do it in whatever order you please. To some degree, at least. Anor Londo is one of the trickier areas in the game, and is a lot easier with a plus 15. Hence, we'll be getting it first. That was close. Got any clubs, tongue? Nope. We also don't really want to die right now. These guys can actually be a little tricky two at a time, so we should be a bit careful here. See if I can line it up. Nope. Ha! Whatever. Gonna go over the swing, and 2 hits, easy. Honestly, that confrontation there is about as much skill as you'll need to use for just about any encounter using the Zwei. A bit of spacing, a bit of awareness, not too much to it, but there's some degree of experience and skill going into it. Anyways, we also want to preserve our humanity, so we're not going to try anything too risky. Because we'll be lighting, or kindling, I suppose, the bonfire at Firelink a couple of times. Don't necessarily need to, but honestly, the Estus helps. We're already human, and a couple humanity is really not much of a big deal. Even if we ever find ourselves low on humanity, there are multiple decent farms for it. And honestly, not that much use we'll have for it. Just a couple of kindlings and a few important places. That's really all. This ambiance gets me every time. Oh, Lautrec, you're back. What you gotta say for yourself?
Oh, hello. I'm considering a change of location.
Funny enough.
I have a rather pressing matter to attend to.
So do I.
That keeper has served me well, but
That's an odd choice of phrase you have there. Let's not go there.
oh,
Stimulating conversation. I don't think our friend up here has anything else to say either yet. Yep, still not up for chatting. So it goes. This fire's already at a plus 10, or a 10 Estus. So we need 2. And only 2. Honestly, a 20 is probably overkill, but I'm of the opinion that why not? You have the humanity. Firelink Shrine is a very central location. And it saves... I mean, we're probably going to die at some point, lose our human form, not our humanity strictly, but our human form anyways, which would then cost another humanity to regain, so it's slightly more efficient if you're going to be putting it to 20 at some point anyways. Alright, new Londo. So you can, there's a couple ways to approach this. Rolling can honestly be pretty helpful against the ghosts, but there's a decent chance that we're just going to be brute forcing our way through most of it. The grabs are the only danger when doing that. Either way... Oh, I still have my rusted ring on. I'm going to have to get rid of that. Either way, you need some transient curses. And then... Wolf Ring is honestly not bad, but we're going to run Evil Eye for the moment. We'd be running Fap Ring if, we had murdered Lautrec, but having not done that, those are probably our best choices right now. Let's also just take a minute to appreciate the spectacle. I'm not trying to call this game exactly beautiful, but there is a beauty to it. Sure, this old, dilapidated, but was probably once quite quite the looker kind of beauty. Your old grandma, but you can tell that she was pretty hot in the day, basically. We're gonna pop the curse. For the moment, we're gonna go in running our Elite Knight set. Stone Guardian works pretty damn well, too. Stone Guardian is the, you're not even gonna try and dodge, you're just gonna hit things. We're going to go shield, although we're probably not going to use it all that much. Just to conserve a bit of stamina. And because you can block it. The important thing with Transient Curse is that when you are cursed, transient or otherwise, your armor, shield, and weapon can all interact with ghosts. There are weapons that can interact with a ghost without the curse, but not armor and shields. Which means that if you don't have the curse on you, you're actually pretty damn squishy fighting ghosts and are completely unable to block. Ha. As for us, we'll just be poise tanking them because we are running the curse. As you can see, they really don't do all that much damage. Actually, for the hell of it, I honestly think that running... There you are. I honestly think that running the stone set is probably just going to be easier. As you can see, we're going definitely over 50%. No medium roll for us, just the classic fat roll. But it provides a ton of defense. Ghosts will not be able to harm us much at all. And while it does slow down stamina regen a bit, we got the Grass Crest Shield. Now with ghosts... They can be in walls, ceilings, floors, wherever, so you want to pay at least a little attention to said things. We can make a lot of mistakes since we have a crap ton of Estus, good defense, and even the Ring of the Evil Eye. But, why take unnecessary damage? We're also kind of hoping that we get a Jagged Ghostblade drop. Scream. Tanky. More curse. The Screamy Red-Eyed Ghost can drop the Ghost Blade, which I think in theory is maybe better than the Jagged one. But for our purposes, Jagged is more suited to our uses, and that's dropped by normal ghosts. We can kick this ladder, but we won't be using it. Honestly, I find the shortcut more of a trouble than it's worth. And killing the ghost is actually kind of a useful little thing to do. because they do drop transient curses and the chance of the Ghost Blade. And we're actually going to want the Ghost Blade at some point, because on our farming route, there will be a couple of ghosts that show up. They're pretty annoying if you don't kill them, and you don't want to pop a curse every time you have to kill just a couple ghosts, if at all avoidable. You can jump that, by the way. I don't really recommend it. Let's deal with the ghost house. Yeah, I saw you. Now, depending on how fast you're taking this, your transient curse could potentially be running out by around this point. It's on our bar just in case, but you really do not want it to run out in the middle of the ghost house. That is almost certain death. Another Screamy. Interestingly, does not die to one hit, but oh well. Ah. I feel like there's usually more. I mean, we got a few of them at the start, but I feel like there's usually more. We'll look around a bit while we still have our curse. Because if you get caught in the ghost house with a full swarm going... Oh. If you caught in the ghost house with a full swarm going, it's quite dangerous. I see you in the damn wall. Thought that was a grab. Guess not. Ah, about time. Yeah, this is the problem with the ghost house. They're in the walls. They're in the floors. And you want to clear them out before you climb the staircase we're going to be heading up in a moment. Because if you don't, as I can attest from experience, they will sometimes just attack you, knock you off, and you'll fall to your death. Not pleasant, and not what you want. We're going to head down here just to make sure we've gotten everything. Excuse my stuffiness, Oh, our curse ran out. Gonna pop it to be safe. There should... I believe there are still a few more ghosts. And even if... Yep, here's one already. And even if there isn't, better safe than sorry. Worst case scenario, transient curses can be bought. And for not even that much, to be honest. Unnecessary expenditure, but not exactly a particularly taxing one. Now let's pay Ingward a visit. Ingward up here guards the key to the seal. Or I should say he holds the key, he guards the seal.
Well, this is a surprise. I don't get many visitors, except for ghosts. Do you have some business here? My name is Ingward. I'm an old man, bound to these parts, but I don't mind a chat. I may even be of some help.
He can break your curse. He can sell transient curses and resist curse. He all about that curse.
I am the guardian of the sea. I watch over the four kings, the masters of the dark wraiths. The dark wraiths are the enemies of man, and any living thing that has a soul. They were born in New Londo, and that is where they perished. The entire city was sacrificed to contain them, for that is how great a threat they were.
Okay, yeah. Apparently everyone back in the day was just total noobs, couldn't deal with some dark race. Now, if you come here after having the Lord Vessel, he gives you the key to the seal like a nice old man, saying, alright, go for it. If you don't, he assumes you're just here to just become a dark wraith and kill people for their humanity or some shit. And so if you want the key, which we do, there's only one option.
Oh, you are no different from the rest.
I considered letting him have some more dialogue, but oh well. Oh, how could you allow this indeed? Maybe next time don't flood the place? Just a thought. Yeah. So there's a way onto the sides of the roof there, but it's not through here. We have to go around a bit. But now I have the key to the seal. Good shit. And the seal itself is not all that far off. My memory of this part of the area is not the best, but down one of these passages, not this one, I feel like, it was the other one. Down one of these ways, out here? Out here. There's an item over here. Be just a little careful. There's something up here. Let's pay a visit to the... there is some more stuff over there, but first, let's pay a visit to the seal. Levers won't move yet. There's a lot of water on top of their devices. It's a bit heavy, and I don't feel like they're the most powerful of contraptions. But if we open the door here... the city drains. And look at that. You would think that flood of water would have done something to the drakes here, but apparently no. They don't even budge. I think it'd be kind of cool if the first time you did that, it actually killed the drakes. It'd just be a neat little interaction. And it's not like it'd be a big deal. You get a few... You can only do this once. You get a few thousand souls from it. Maybe an item if you're lucky. Game breaking, apparently. Can't be allowed. Or more accurately, they couldn't actually be bothered, probably. Oh well. And you have a nice little item over here. We will not be using, but oh well. And a great view of a shithole. Fuck the Valley of Drakes. Fuck Drakes. Drakes are stupid. They're really annoying enemies to fight. But you gotta farm them for dragon scales if you want to use a dragon weapon. Which I've done in the past, and I've developed a... perhaps not a cute, shall we say, an obtuse hatred for them. They're really just bullshit enemies. I'll probably fight a few just to show them off and grab an item while we're at it, but I'm not a fan. We can go over here, give it the old fat roll. Which, honestly, now that we're done with the ghost, I'm going to swap back. Better aesthetic, and I like my roll. You could, like I think I showed in the last one, you do have the carry weight right now to mix and match a little bit, but why bother? I think that is all there really is up here. Yeah. Clonk. Now all that's left is to deal with some Dark Wraiths. Which, honestly, we're here for the Dark Wraiths. We will not be fighting the boss of this area quite yet. Frankly, we're not actually able to. We have not beaten the boss of, or the real boss, shall I say, of Darkroot Garden. Not the butterfly, but Sif. We have not beaten Sif, we don't have the ring, and there's really no point in fighting the Four Kings yet, the boss of this area. It'd just be for souls. I don't even remember if Koth shows up yet. Like we could, but at the very least, we're getting a plus 15 first. Here are the drakes. Now, that attack is pretty easy to parry. Honestly, the easiest way to deal with these guys is just parry that attack. Give him a smack. Dead. I'll aggro Drake, I guess. If we fight our way through a few of these things, we can pick up some gear. I did not mean to aggro all of them. Yeah, that attack especially, where instant takeoff, evades all your shit, throws lightning beneath them as they go. It's fucking irritating to deal with. It is not worth. Drakes are not worth the pain in the ass they are to fight. And with it not being a 1v1, I'm just not even gonna bother. Usually I have Pyromancy and I'll just fireball them. Pick them up, aggro one at a time, get them down like that, but lacking that option, I'd have to melee and, like I said, not really worth the time. Doable, bit dangerous, not worth. Now, obvious item trap is obvious. That's another way to deal with Dark Race. If you can't parry, just do that. Now, one, there we go. And they do have a shield. It's possible to aggro. You don't really want to fight these guys multiple at a time, and it's very easy in this bit here if you're not careful to end up in such a situation. Ah, 2 attacks are enough. Good shit. So obviously that's another way you can deal with them. We do want to lure out this guy. This guy is kind of a pain in the ass. Big, gross, creepy, has a lot of HP, spawns exploding heads, shoots guck at you, tries to stab you. Bunch of not very good stuff. But he does not respawn. Is it gonna be the... Ah. I could have gotten some damage in there. No reason to risk it, though. Head blow up. They're honestly not too difficult. They can hurt a little bit. But the only and obviously the exploding heads can be a little nasty. Honestly, the only real danger with them, though, is getting gucked. Because it slows your movement, and then you can be hit by other things. Also, if you end up having to fight them with Dark Race around, that can be a bit dangerous. But if you isolate them, they're really not a problem. Ow. God, I remember getting invaded here once. I was like, alright, time to get the Ember. And then just invasion. I'm like, oh, come on. Like, who even invades a new Londo? FFS. I won, so I guess it's okay, but it was actually pretty close. It was another Zvi build, and we were fighting in a corridor. So, it made swinging tough. On the other hand, I was tank enough that his build couldn't actually do a lot of damage to me, so it was kind of a weird standoff where most of my attacks I couldn't even use. And the ones I could were slow. I mean, Zvi is slow as hell to begin with, but the only thing I could use was the power attack, which is extra slow. Yeah, I don't think he was trying that hard, though. He was using fists. Which I guess is fine. But seriously, why invade a new Londo, man? Come on. Yes, we have the very large Ember. That lets us get to plus 15 normal weapons. Which we just so happen to like. I would argue it's the easiest. Normal's honestly the best and easiest upgrade path in pretty much all scenarios. There's an elevator over here if you're wondering where this is. We won't use it. Ever. But yeah, normal chunks are honestly pretty damn easy to get. Slab is easy to get. The embers for it are honestly relatively easy to get. Not too much of a pain. And it's just a really good upgrade path. Like, it's good for strength and dex builds, and it's good for magic and faith builds, because you can't buff weapons that aren't in the normal path. And Magic and Faith like to be able to weapon buff. So it's kind of just the path everything except low stat builds go. And don't get me wrong, Fire and Lightning weapons are quite potent on their own. Those are definitely viable paths. But overall, you go normal. Normal's the best. The only time you don't really go normal is if you're... The only time I'd recommend not going normal is if you are doing a lower damage stat build or you're planning around it for some reason. Or if you know, or maybe if you know, like, which weapons are especially strong. Because some weapons are quite potent with an elemental upgrade path, but... Alright, now around here is where, if we hadn't killed all the ghosts, there'd be some ghosts showing up. And they'd be getting cut. Oh shit, I forgot about you. I didn't realize I'd aggroed you. This will be interesting. 2 at once. No problem. I think I know which guy I aggroed. I shouldn't have gone down the left path. I don't know why I did. It's not part of the route. Yeah, there's that guy, and then there's another Dark Wraith in there who's aggroing. Yeah, Ghosts would normally... If we hadn't cleared them out... Oh, Jesus Christ. If we hadn't cleared them out, Ghosts would be showing up right around here. They'd be coming in through the walls and the ceiling. They'd be causing quite a hassle. Uh-oh. Oof. Not just too much damage, though, so it's fine. You know, you don't have to worry about anything else. These guys are not difficult. And there's only the 2 of them, and they don't respawn. So we are done with them forever. Now we've got another Dark Wraith around here. And normally there would be, on our usual farming route, we would then have one down here. But he aggroed already. We already killed him. With that, we're done. Now we can either homeward bone or try fighting some drakes. Let's see if we can aggro just 1 or 2 at a time. Don't fucking... Drakes are such a pain in the ass. They're stupid, poorly designed bullshit. They're annoying to fight. They don't give you much. And they're just kind of haphazardly placed. Woo-hoo. Stagger, at least. They're hard to chain stagger, unfortunately, but you can at least stagger them. Oh, we have plenty of Estus, more than we are ever likely to need. Aggro. Aggro. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the tricky part about chain staggering drakes, the timing is very slightly funky, just because, and we can just rush this guy. The timing is slightly funky because you have to get them after their stagger animation goes, and as you can see, they have some movement options that happen basically instantly. Sly still does really well, especially in a 1v1. But you still... They can still be a pain, and you still do have to be careful because you need that 1v1. If you don't have it, they are a bit of a pain. Actually, fuck it. Let's deal with some Valley of Drakes while we're here. Although if we die, that's going to be a real right pain in the ass. Red Tearstone Ring. Useful for certain things, not for us. Because we don't intend to be on low health, and don't really care about buffing our damage when we're on low. was a bit early. Now you want to be a little careful fighting on the bridge. I have died at that bridge because that Drake there turned around and his tail pushed me off when he did. Of all the stupid ways to die, I feel like that's pretty far up there. So we want to avoid that. And here we have Corpse of the Bandit. Our class, semi-canonically, I guess, or judging by that, dies on that bridge there. R.I.P. him. Ow! Fuck you. Pain. That's fine. We can drink again. Abuse their funky AI. You can fly, you dipshit. By the way, I didn't actually show it off because it's kind of unnecessary, but the bonfire, Darkroot Basin near where we fought the Halberd Black Knight. Yeah, that would be through there. You take a little elevator, you come down here. It's cool. I like that it exists. It's kind of pointless. But hey, it's something. Now there's this jerk. There's no room to dodge here. Whatever. Probably could have done that a bit better, but again, this is why we bring Estus. So that we don't have to care. Like, honestly, heavy armor, strong... It doesn't even need to be a heavy weapon. I just like this vibe because, as stated 100 times, it's got a multitude of uses. And it's quite powerful in the early game, but... in the late game, honestly, the strongest builds aren't even going to be strength builds, generally speaking. Strength builds can do fine, but dex weapons tend to just be better. Now, if you watch, he's going to barf poison. It's a pain. But it's not that hard to deal with. What you have to watch out for with this guy is his melee attacks. Those really hurt. Honestly, we don't want to get toxic, but we can totally handle it even if we do. Now, one thing you can do with this, go around to his other side. This confuses him a little bit, but he'll bait out a melee attack with that. And as you can see, his melee attacks really hurt. They really hurt. So while it seems like a tempting strategy, I actually don't recommend it. The easiest way to deal with this guy is just poison breath, wait, run into it anyways because you suck at waiting, back off. Basically zero risk. And you can go for an extra attack there if you want. It's honestly not even that risky, especially if you have something with better toxic resistance than this has. But you do have to worry a little bit about sticking around too long, because even if his claw attacks can't kill you, as you can see, they do a lot of damage, and they can push you off the edge. But we're going to be a little greedy and just go for another attack there. Avoid the claw swipe. He's going to go breath. We're going to go for the kill. Bit of souls, a dragon scale, and an item that doesn't matter. Good shit. Who wouldn't want such things in their lives? And we homeward out. Honestly, excuse me. I should just equip homeward on my item bar. Right. Now, 4 Titanite chunks. We need 7? 9? I think that's something I'd remember, but apparently not. I think it's 7. At the very least, we'll go until we have 7 and then see. It's good levels anyways. And as you can see, not really that hard. We'll be killing a few more ghosts on our way. Just because, kind of hoping for a drop. It's not the end of the world if there isn't a drop, but a jagged ghost blade would be kind of nice. Oftentimes what I'll do is every time I pop a curse, I'll clear out at least one of the ghost houses on the way. But for our purposes, it's honestly not necessary as well, just because we really are likely to only need 1 or 2 more runs of this before we have enough Titanite chunks. Less if we're lucky. And we're unlikely to run out of curses before that point. So actually, why don't I just show you what the no curse used would look like. And, well, I should say the no curse farm some ghosts would look like, because there's not much of a difference. Go here. Looks as normal, but you avoid the ghosts. Can't fight them without the curse. And you roll down here, skipping large chunks of New Londo in the process. That skip is the reason this area is not hell on earth. As it is, it's, New Londo is interesting. I find its design decisions curious, but not necessarily bad. Like, obviously, visually, it's kind of neat. Sunken, dingy, dark ghost town. Nails it pretty well. You might say there might be improvements you could make. I don't know. I like it. There's nothing about it that I'm like, yeah, I'm not a fan of this, just aesthetic and design-wise. The enemy placement is largely fine. Jerk. And there's no bonfire here. It is, as far as I know, the only location in the game that just, well, yeah, I think only location in the game, pretty much, that just does not have a bonfire. You got him out there. If I could be a bitch, I don't want to have aggro that guy. Okay, I'm good. Which means that you have to run from other bonfires. The thing there is that, well, I actually like that decision. The problem is that there's no bonfires near New Londo at all. It's a run no matter where you come from. Firelink Shrine being the closest, and as you can see, it's still a bit of a ways to get down here. Not awful and not prohibitive by any stretch, just irritating. Still, it is a pretty cool location. Dark Wraiths are a fine enemy, I think. Nothing spectacular, but they do the job. And it's a very good Titanite chunk farm. In fact, it is, I believe, the only really Titanite chunk farm. How'd I miss that? I forget. I forget item locations plenty. Most of them don't even matter that much. Squish. Up here. See if they start appearing when I get that far. Ghosts are gonna start showing up. It's gonna get spooky up in here. We're gonna pop a curse. We're gonna bait out the ghosts and the Dark Wraith. Do a little circle, and as you can see, spooky. Senorita Spookeasy comes. Oh, we got blocked. Honestly, the most dangerous attack with these guys is their 4-hit combo. Everything else is totally manageable. Oh, fuck off! No drop. And then, sometimes more ghosts will be coming from the wall, so I like to bait this guy out a bit. But I think we're fine. Yep. All that's left, bit of slam, bit of jam. Come on. Which is, just thinking, I don't know if you've ever, was it Dunkstein and Slammo? Ornstein and Smo Slam Jam remix? That has to be seen if you have not. It is fantastic, an absolute piece of art. Oh, fuck off! Nothing wrong with the Dark Hand. It's kind of a fun little weapon. Honestly, damage on it isn't terrible. Well, it kind of is, but for a punching weapon, it's not really that bad, especially when if you use it with a no stats. I've never done a no stats Dark Hand run, and I don't think I ever want to. But I could see it being kind of entertaining. I just don't like fist weapons all that much. And with that, we've cleared another run. Run cleared, 0 chunks. Yay us. Fun. I guess I'll show you what I usually do when I actually do have the, when I do a bit of a transient curse run. This would honestly, we'd be way better off farming this stuff if we weren't doing it pre-Sen's Fortress. Because we could get the gold serpent ring from Sen's, which would speed up the process. You can also pop a bunch of humanity if you want. Humanity up till 10 gives some item discovery. But, feels like why bother? We'd probably be, honestly, we might be using humanity anyways at some point, so it's not a big deal. I just don't feel like it. And I'm not intending, since we already kindled the Sen's Fortress bonfire to 10, which is, well, if I retain my humanity where I get there, I might pop a couple, so you could say maybe you pop 2 humanity here. And actually, I'll use that just to demonstrate. Item discovery, as you can see, at 100. Pop a twin humanity. 158. Honestly, a sizable increase, stat-wise. Now, I don't know the exact math behind item discovery, so I can't tell you how big of a difference it actually is. I forgot the fucking curse. Jesus Christ me. Yeah, as you can see, no poise against them when you're not cursed. Armor has no effect. They follow you kind of far. They are spooks. Spooks indeed. Now we're going to go clear out at least the first ghost house, possibly even the second. We're going to hope we get a drop. If we get a jagged ghost blade drop, then we stop immediately. Ghosts will serve no more purpose for us. If we don't, we sigh deeply and continue on with life. Hoping for greener pastures in the future. Hoping that one... Curses, whatever. Curses! It's curses. Fuck me. Hoping that one day God may smile upon us, the Lord Gaben may grace us with his presence, and Aaron Jesus shall bless us. Until that day, we toil on. Oh, I got grabbed. As you can see, grab kind of hurts. It's not terrible. Kind of hurts, though. God, if you come here with just full Havels, though, ghosts just do not do damage. I'm just going to continue on to the ghost house. Probably don't need to, but we're gonna. We just want a ghost blade, damn it. Yeah, we're not gonna... There's some shit down there as well, but it is just not worth dealing with. I can't even remember if there's an item or not. I've checked it out once and just filed it away in my brain as not worth your time. Ghosts come out of the walls. Ouchies. Oof, that actually hurt a lot. There's a lot of ghosts here. Fortunately, we can just drink. This is the power of heavy armor. Which, we're not even... This is medium armor. We're not even in really heavy armor. As you can see, with Big Vit, decent armor, you can just tank it. Don't have to give a shit. There's enough curses. We're probably fine. There are some places you can drop from safely, as we've already demonstrated. I don't think this is one of them. In fact, I would put money on it not being. So we are not going to. I guess I could just take the ladder, show that off a little bit. Whee! Yeah, it takes you down to here. Ghost attack. And come over here. You can get to that. You can do a little roll. That ladder's a shortcut because you can do a little roll to get to the platform it's by. And it lets you skip the first little ghost house, but the first little ghost house is not exactly difficult, so kind of like, who cares, honestly. Bit of the old slam. Hey, that's... Woo, baby! That's what we're looking for. That's what we want to see. I do not do a good impression. Wasn't trying that hard, but also... I kind of just don't anyways. I don't know. I like... I should say I admire, because that's not exactly the word, but... I enjoy people who do good impressions quite a bit. I like them. I find impressions really fun to do, even though there is not a lot of impressions I can do at all. I like making funny voices, doing terrible accents, stuff like that, but enjoying doing it and being good at it are, unfortunately, often not the same thing. And I guess they can be the same thing. If you enjoy doing something, you're more likely to put work into actually learning it, getting good at it. And that's something that with a lot of these things, or a lot of things I like, I never actually did. So in that sense, it's my fault that I'm not good at it, because I never bothered to put in the work. But there are also some people who just maybe have a bit more natural talent with it than others. And that's something I do sometimes wish that'd be fun to be talented. Why did I? Oh, right. That was dumb. See, the reason that was dumb is because, pretty sure we already cleared out the ghost house. I can't say for sure that we cleared out the exact ghosts that would come after us. I'm pretty sure we did. So that curse was entirely unnecessary. It's fine, simply because we stopped, just period. But it's also more specifically fine because we've already stocked up on curses from getting a few drops out of our kills here on the way here. So it's not really a big deal. It'd be like, oh no, used a curse, whatever we're gonna do. But would have been better to not, honestly. Would have also been better if we were actually getting some more chunk drops. 2 is not terrible for a run, but it's definitely not great. Sometimes if you're really fast, you can parry these guys so quickly that... that was pretty bad. I'll try it again, or I'll just get stabbed. I'll try it with some of the other ones. If they have fast enough fingers, you can go straight from the parry into the riposte animation so quickly that they don't even get it. The animation of them, like, reeling back from the parry doesn't even go off. You pretty much don't even get the chance to see the parry animation at all. It's pretty fun. Feels pretty good. Ah. What up? I guess another reason we can also save the boss of this place for a bit later is that we have a reason to come back here. See the crestfallen warrior in his final resting place. Well, what will be final resting place. More on that later, I guess. always double tap the elevator. I had one time when I was doing a soul level 30 run. I think it was 30, might have been 20, somewhere in that area. Doing one of those runs. I was farming this place. I died. I had forgotten to tap the elevator. I didn't realize it. I ran off that bit and lost 1,000,000 souls. Because at that point, I had 1,000,000 souls saved up. It didn't matter, because in the end I was keeping my level stagnant. But it was a little disheartening. I had originally not necessarily planned to be keeping my level stagnant for the whole thing. I was expecting to level up at some point. Because that was actually my first experience with twinking, even though it wasn't intended to be. My original plan with that build was to use it to play along with some friends. Do some multiplayer and adjust my levels to equal theirs. That never happened. So instead, the build ended up becoming kind of a minor twink build in, like, Depths and Blighttown, I think, were about the only place I ever got invasions. But honestly, that was kind of fun. Don't get me wrong, invading in Blighttown is about as scummy as you can get. But I am a man of principles. I did a few things. Whenever I got an invasion, most of the time, honestly, a lot of the invasions, I never even attacked. One of my favorite invasions was to dress up like Gwendolyn and equip double skull lantern and just run in people's faces and shine the lantern in their face. Apparently it was very intimidating. A lot of people just flat up ran away, others terminated with extreme prejudice. Maybe they just didn't like a light in their face, I don't know. Maybe realistically, it's just invader kill. Some people played along a little bit, most didn't bother. It was a little saddening. But I would also do some other builds occasionally that were potentially dangerous. But often wouldn't even bother looking for kills. I'd walk into the swamp, get poisoned, which also shows where you are, because they can see the damage ticking on you. Wouldn't bother to heal myself. That sort of stuff. And then if I saw that they hadn't lit the bonfire, I would make a trail of items to the bonfire, showing them where it is, and then just kill myself. Because, I mean, I don't lose anything for it. And you don't... I would not want to be someone who invades and kills someone who has gotten down into Blighttown, but has yet to actually reach the bonfire. That is actually, like, the most dick move I can think of. How the fuck do you get to that item? I think probably maybe around there. Alright, now we're gonna get ghosted. We're gonna decide that ghosting is a crime punishable by death. Although I guess they're already dead, so... Bit late on that. Oh well. There is no statute of limitations for ghosting. It was very important that we get that item. Whatever will we do without that X number of souls? I don't even... 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 at most, I'm guessing. Let's find out. What do you say? Large soul of a proud knight. 3,000. Amazing. Really, really important that we find that. But we at least get to feel good about ourselves. Oh, that was funny. I should do a parry on this guy. That was too slow. I wasn't confident enough in my parry timing. Do the stab. I'm better at parrying the stab. Alright, if you're gonna be like that... He walks forward, slow and dramatically, attempting to give a menacing impression. He wishes for his prey to flee before him. Yeah, like that. Oh no, Dark Rays to me, I'm just like, y'all some just edgy little bitches, man. This is some middle school shit. Little middle school edgelords. They're not actually intimidating. Like, the armor's kind of fun. But I wouldn't be caught dead wearing it. Oh, fuck off. Also, just a note. A plus 14 lightning rapier will, I think, even at least kill these guys in one parry. Possibly overkill them? Well, I might have been thinking of a different rapier build. Rapiers do bonus riposte damage, though, so not really a surprise. What are we at chunk-wise? 6, 7? Ah. 6. Just need one more. At least we're getting good levels out of this, that's fine, but... Honestly, I'll be real. What I'm doing right now, getting a plus 15, if you want to experience Dark Souls, like, fully, the way it was probably intended to be played, not that I'm even going to say there is a correct way to play Dark Souls. Dark Souls is a very open-ended game. It's a game that lets you do it kind of however you want. But it was also very clearly designed with an intended path in mind, although allowing it to work arguably just as well with many different paths. It's a very open game, but I think you'd have trouble denying that there isn't a kind of the simplest way forward, the most obvious way forward, the intended path that it was somewhat designed around. If you want to experience that, if you want to experience the difficulty of Sens and Anor Londo just raw, don't do what I'm doing. This is easy mode. We're trying to take an easy path. Whether the easy path is the most fun for you, or whatever is the most fun for you, take that path. I honestly enjoy doing it this way. I'm honestly not in Dark Souls for the challenge that much. I enjoy the challenge. I'm glad I've experienced it, at least at some point. But it's not what I'm here for. I will say, though, you can never get back your first experience of playing a Souls game. And I'm not just talking, you can't get back the first time playing each game individually. The first time you play a Souls game is probably going to be a fairly unique experience. At least it was for me, and I think it was for a lot of people. And you will never quite get the same experience again, because you will have experienced what the games are like. You will know how to play them. You'll understand some of the way they work. Also, we have, I think, enough, but we're going to complete our run regardless. Pain. However, I think again, I don't think there is a correct way to play these games. I think they should be played however you want, whatever you find most enjoyable. Or at least whatever you think you'll find most enjoyable. And there is something to be said for... The games are designed to give you a certain experience, and certain modes, certain ways of playing them could perhaps detract from that experience. Well, I don't think it's necessarily bad having those other ways, like co-op. If your first time with Dark Souls is co-oping it with a friend, you're getting a very different experience, and I would argue possibly a lesser experience. As fun as that could be, I think that, I'm not going to say robs the game of its artistry, but there are certain artistic decisions and like atmosphere, tone, and whatnot that you're just not going to feel the effects of if you're playing the whole game with a friend. The atmosphere of this game is bleak, lonely, and dangerous. This world is harsh. This world is deadly. And on the surface, seemingly very unforgiving. And the gameplay is meant to reflect that. If you're playing with a friend, you're not really experiencing it like that. And while I think it's fine to play with a friend, it's not something I'd recommend on your first go-through. Similarly, while this is an easy mode, somewhat intended for new players who want to be able, who would otherwise think they would struggle with the game, be able to beat it, I honestly wonder if I might be doing a bit of a disservice by actually making this. Or showing it, assuming anyone ever looks at it. Because I think you're never going to be able to get your first time with a Souls game back. And I think experiencing it with all the frustrations, all the difficulties, all the death that it was meant to have, it's probably a valuable way to play. But I also think that there should be options for people who just don't connect with that as well. Who that's not the experience that they're necessarily looking for. What am I doing? I have a homeward bone on my bar. We have enough now. I'm going to take Transient Curse off. But yeah, that's also why, and I think that's partly why I don't think Dark Souls should have an actual, like, difficulty selection easy mode. One of the ways, at least. There's also arguments of, oh, that takes, and I support these arguments, that putting in an straight up just easy mode, you're either going to have to spend development resources designing that mode, balancing it, and making sure it fits the best experience, which these games are never properly finished. So I don't want any resources at all taken away from finishing the game, if at all possible. But the other thing is, I think there would probably be a lot of players, and this might have even included myself, who would go into this game and be like, oh, I hear it's really hard. There's an easy mode. I'm going to check out the easy mode. I'm not sure I can complete it otherwise. And I think that would be a mistake. I think you would miss out on a really interesting and somewhat unique experience doing that. And you'd probably do it without ever realizing it as well. Not just, oh, you've cheated the game and you've cheated yourself or whatever, but a sort of just a sad little, this is a great game. I think you experienced it. It was probably still very good. You probably might have still had a great time. But I think that the true depth and gravity that the experience could have would likely be lost with an easy mode. At least the way these games are designed. You could design a game around the idea that it would have an easy mode. I don't think that suits FromSoft, at least given their design. Or at least Miyazaki. I don't necessarily want to see a Miyazaki game like that. There are other games, other franchises, other studios that can do that just fine. There are other good Souls-like games, but not quite the same. Internet. But I'm sure that the next time FromSoft release a game, be it Elden Ring, if that ever actually does come out, or whatever, there'll be another hullabaloo over, oh, needs an easy mode, etc. Probably in ignorance or ignoring the fact the game does have its inbuilt easy modes, which is part of what I'm going for here. I'll shut up.
Brilliant amber you've got there. For all my years in the trade, that might be the finest. How's about you leave that amber with me? I'm just an old smith. I'd give my left arm for a gem like that.
I will give you the very large amber.
Well, thank you mightily for that. Now, just leave the rest to me. Andre of Astora gets the job done. You shall see.
There's a lot of cool guys from Astora. Let's go. I'm not going to have the souls for this, but I'll pop more when necessary. Already necessary. 800 per. I still have, what, 3 to go? I'm just short, huh? I'll just pop another 2k. Doesn't really matter, and I don't feel like doing math. Maths? That was a 3k. Teehee. Math's boring, man. I don't like math. I can kind of understand people who like it, to some degree. I actually enjoyed my high school calculus class. It was kind of like a fun little puzzle, almost. It was interesting. It was nice to sort of use your brain for that, but for the most part, math is not very fun. Anyways, we have our plus 15's Vihander. We got the big damage, the decent scaling. Ours Vi is the most powerful it shall ever be. Well, the weapon itself. We'll still get more damage out of it when we eventually. But until we're not going to be doing that for what, another 7 levels? Which, that's not actually that much, but it is actually a fair amount of souls for this point in the game, so in that regard, it will be at least a little while. A few areas, at the very least. But once we hit Endurance to 40, we're going to start pumping Strength. Getting Vit to 40 is also honestly not terrible, but 30 is sort of the first soft cap for Vit. You get less value per point going to 40 from 30 than you did going from 20 to 30 by far, or really anything before the 30 mark. And then after 40, it really starts to drop off. Whereas we can still get our strength to 40, and getting that strength to 40 will give us pretty decent, we'll get some pretty decent results per point. It's pretty high efficiency point-wise. Not this, like, this Vi isn't the best strength scaler, but it ain't bad. Honestly, if we really wanted, we could also get, I'm not going to strictly recommend this. I don't think it suits the build that well. We could get our strength to 50 to be able to use Havel's Great Shield. Havel's Great Shield is a beast of a shield. You can basically beat every encounter in the game by just holding it up in front of you, letting it take the hit, and hitting back. Though I would argue that actually works better with fast weapons, because less stamina consumption, and you can often get more hits in. But it would work with strength weapons too, to be honest. I've done it. It's fine. It works. Now Blight Town. We are so over-leveled and overpowered for Blight Town. Which is not that much of a problem, to be honest. Blight Town is kind of piss-easy. Like, it's awful and terrible and horrible the first time you're through it when you don't know what's going on. You're constantly poisoned. It's the worst. It's gross. There's mosquitoes coming all over the place. There's big nasty bug things. What the fuck? It's, at first, seems like the worst. Then you get through it. At least the swamp part. The way down is the worst. Fuck the way down. But the swamp part, not so bad. I probably shouldn't have popped the elevator, but it will. I was going to use this humanity for something. Damn it. Whatever. Just don't die, forehead. I'll save that for the way back up. We're going to save the Toxic Dark Spitter area for the way back up, because I think it's... I'm pretty sure it's at least a bit less of a climb. Or it's at least a bit faster going up that way. Not 100% sure on that, but I think it is. As you can see, we now two-shot these jerks. God, Kellogg is going to be fucking piss easy. That's the other thing. The boss of Blight Town is... might seem kind of tough at first. It is really not. That was the first boss I actually managed to first try in this game. Gaping Dragon, like I said, I was hella close on. It was a little bullshit dying. But... first actual one-shot boss was Kellogg. She is not difficult. Not at all. I don't need to go two-hand. The thing with Kellogg is, honestly, as long as you're careful with the lava, she only has one attack that's dangerous, at all dangerous, and that's the body explosion. It's a boss that you want to take kind of carefully, especially depending on how much damage you have. Because she can be... what are you fucking... Mosquitoes are the worst. I don't even know why I'm fucking bothering. I could just keep walking down. They won't be able to do much. Plus, I might actually get a little lower. I honestly just wanted to kill them, because fuck off. 'Twas not a plan of action thought through with the head, but with the heart. I followed my heart, and my heart said, fucking kill these assholes. And I thought, damn, son. Heart, you know what you're talking about. And yeah, Poison, as you can see, and as you might have probably seen before, is not actually that bad. That's why the Blighttown Swamp is not that awful, all things considered. Poison's not... Honestly, the damage on Poison isn't terrible. You can get... It's pretty easy to have a good chunk of Estus. Estus isn't a consumable, you can use it freely. The Swamp's not even that big. Like, that's a little false. It's... Total size, it's pretty large. Not, like, ridiculous. It's not fucking Demon Souls bullshit. But it is large. However, from the bonfire to Quelaag is not that much of a run. A lot of the swamp is, the bonfire, as well as the way down into it, and to some degree the way out of it, are somewhat centralized. Though admittedly the boss is on one of the extremities. That's a little annoying, I suppose. And we're gonna get poisoned here, but it really doesn't matter. We're gonna have these jerks throwing rocks at us. That also really doesn't matter. Because you can just ignore them. Yeah, you missed. What of it? What now, bitch? You get Quelaag's Domain. Going into this the first time, I was like, ooh, spooky spider shit. And you see these things, and they're like, what the hell? And you can lock on. So you attack them, and that turns out to be a terrible decision. For the love of God, do not attack these things. Holy shit. I fucked myself so hard first time doing that. They give nothing. You kill them, worms come out. Those worms hurt. They also have an attack that can put worms in your head. The worms turn into a creepy egg thing. The egg thing steals your souls, effectively. As long as you have it on, your soul gain is halved, and it is difficult to get off. On top of that, I was stupid, and I aggroed the NPC you need to remove the damn thing. And I found myself in a situation where I had an egg on my head that was having the souls the souls I was receiving, but I need to seek absolution to unaggro the NPC that can get the thing off my head. So, absolution requires souls, which, as I said, my soul gain was halved. Plus, I was down in Blighttown. The place I need to go for the fucking absolution is the guy at the top of the undead church, or parish. It is from one end of the world borderline to the other, vertically. And on top of that, the souls I got, I had enough souls that I got from the boss after this boss. I was trying to take them up to the parish, and I died to some bullshit tree route, which I will point out, tree root, that I'll point out later. I lost all of them. And I thought I was fucked. I was ready. That was the closest I've been just rage quitting. I wasn't that close, but I may or may not have been like, hey, is there a cheat to get this my souls back there? Because that was really bullshit. I didn't end up cheating, but I thought about it, man. Cutscene. Big icky spider, and then sexual confusion. Your reaction is generally, oh, that's gross, that's creepy, jeez, big spider, and then, what the hell, that's hot. Hot in more ways than one. Ha! Ow! Man, that tracks more than I remember. If you position yourself in the little crick there properly, she'll miss you with a lot of her attacks. Uh-oh. You also need to be real careful of the lava. And you have to be careful of your spacing to her because of the body explosion. I tried to roll under that, it didn't work. Usually I just run away from that attack, but I'm being kind of reckless right now. That's the body explosion. You fucking run from that shit. It does a truckload of damage. Anyways, yeah, with our current setup, she is an absolute pushover. He's kind of a pushover anyways, but... like shit. I beat her with a fucking, like, fire longsword, man. That actually did no damage. It did no damage. It took so long. But if you play the fight carefully, which even then, I didn't. I am an impatient bitch. But if you play the fight carefully, it's not hard. It's really not. Rang the second bell. Nice pan out. Sen's Fortress is opened. I kind of love Sen's Fortress. That area is about as sadistic as it gets, and I fucking love it. I'm not even that masochistic. Like, I'm a little bit, but I can appreciate Sen's. And just the finely crafted sadistry. Sadistry? Lol. Yes, we'll call it sadistry. Sadistic artistry. Sadistry.
What have we here?
I don't think that's a word, though.
Are you a new servant?
Yeah.
But you have no eggs. Ah, no matter. Go along and have audience with our fair lady. I pray that you will mind your manners.
If you talk to him when you have an egg for a head, he's like, oh, he's very touched that you were willing to go so far as to egg yourself up. Fit in. But he's also like, man, that egg looks like shit on you, bro. Just get that shit off of you, man. He appreciates the sentiment, though, and I think he starts selling you some more crap or something. I don't actually remember for sure. And it's the fair lady. She's an interesting sort. Daughter of Chaos tried to suck some nameless, unspecified blight from the people of Blight Town, and it sickened her and put her on death's door. And now her sister, which you just killed, is murdering people to take their humanity to give to her, hoping it'll make her better. Possibly because humanity is physicality, and she's hoping to physically strengthen her sister. Her sister does not speak your language. But if you took the old witch's ring, you can talk to her, and she thinks you're her sister, who you killed. Feels a little bad. Feels a bit bad. There's also Covenant, which we'll be making use of, but I'm trying to think if... I'm going to be entering other Covenants before this one, but this is remastered, and remastered Covenant systems actually kind of is a lot more convenient, so for the moment, let's just enter a Covenant. It also gives us great Chaos Fireball, which we can't use, but... well, technically we could. We have a Pyromancy Flame, we just need a couple points in attunement for a slot, or to permanently wear the Dark Moon Seance Ring, but honestly, any ring combination that isn't Fap Ring and Havels is probably suboptimal, to say the least. Fatbring and Havels is just a bit too good. Also worth noting, she's a firekeeper. This bonfire is automatically at a 10 Estus fire, once kindled. Bonfires with firekeepers are automatically put to that. Also, if you kill the firekeeper, the bonfire goes out. But they'll have a firekeeper's soul. We could kill her. There is a tangible benefit to killing her down the line. Once we have no more need of her services, we will not be doing so. There is no point to it. It is an act of needless cruelty. The reward is not worth the guild. Now we're going to do Ceaseless. And honestly, we're going to do the Demon Ruins while we're here, because why the fuck not? When I do builds with low stats, take a bit of damage there, but it doesn't matter. When I do builds with low stats, I'll actually go down. That's a Demon Ruin down there, by the way. The area proper. This is also the area proper, but that's the main area, I guess you could say. It doesn't matter. Demon Ruin's a bit of a funky area. But when I actually do low stat builds, I go down there to pick up the Ember. Because you can get, at this point, once you've beaten Quelaag, you can get a +5 fire weapon, or if you're willing to take a dunk in some lava, a +5 or +10 fire weapon, or a +5 chaos. Both of which are equivalent in upgrade to the +15's Vi we have. Chaos Vi, besides being memeable, is not even a bad weapon, to be honest, if you're willing to keep your humanity up. There's a reason it was in that meme. But we are not going to bother with keeping our humanity up or any shit like that. Plus, we're going strength, so why bother? And honestly, the Demon Ruins doesn't really hold a lot for us yet, outside of said Ember. And since it's an Ember we're not going to be making any use out of, there's no point in us heading down there yet. I'll probably clear out the Tauros demons, because they don't respawn, and why not, but other than that, bleh. Now, speaking of bleh, meet the Ceaseless Discharge. He's a bit of a sad fella. Not even aggressive. He's pretty fucked up. Pretty gross. Honestly, the first time I came around here, I appreciate Ceaseless for what he is aesthetically, as much as the fight fucking sucks. Because damn, when I first came around that corner and saw that, I was like, holy shit, that thing is huge. That's the boss? How the fuck am I supposed to fight this thing? Oh, what the hell? He is quite something. But the fight's a bit, it's not the best. Yeah, he's just hanging out. He's just here being sad, man. You saw his sad face. He's in pain. His life sucks. He's just here. He don't hold no anger for anyone. Until you desecrate the corpse of his sister. Now he's a bit mad. Also, don't sprint. I've discovered the hard way that if you sprint, immediately that arm will clonk you in the face. You can fight him normally by just either dodging or blocking his attacks that put his arm on the ground, and then hitting the arm. It's a fucking pain. It's not, strictly speaking, hard, but it's a pain in the ass, and it's not worth the time. We'll be doing the cheese method. The cheese method is pretty simple. After you pick up his sister's stuff, you run back to the fog door. If you die, by the way, this cheese method is still doable. You just have to run all the way back to his sister's stuff again. Now he's going to do here. You just hit him a bit. I can't remember if there's one of these that you're supposed to hit, but it doesn't really matter. You hit him enough, and he dies. He loses his grip, or some shit. He falls into that giant fuck-off chasm. What happened is basically he makes a big flying leap from there, grabs onto the edge, and then is like, or in his attempt to fucking murder you, and then he's like, oh shit, oh shit, help! Because he's clinging on the edge for dear life. And then you just fucking step on his fingers with your weapon like some fucking villain. Some movie villain, and he falls to his death. You are basically Scar. And you just murdered Mufasa. You murdered giant, tentacly flaming demon Mufasa. How does that make you feel? Probably like a king. Long live the king and all. Alright. Ceaseless down. Ceaseless is not that difficult of a fight, but he's got worth some pretty decent souls. And he opens up the Demon Ruins. They are big. There's a lot of lava. And there's a bunch of demons. Just... You can tell this area is so unfinished. It's not as bad as Lost Izalith, but you could just fucking tell. Just look at this shit. Just fucking look at this shit. It's just a bunch of Taurus demons. They're not even, like, carefully placed. They're just thrown in. This is like bring your child to work and day, and the kid was like, Daddy, I want to design a level. Or Mommy, we don't discriminate. And the parent was like, sure, honey. Here, we got this, this game ships in 5 days, and we haven't finished this level. We need some enemies. Give us some enemies. And the kid fucking took, I don't even know how game development works. Kid took some copy-paste tool and just copy-pasted a bajillion Taurus demons all over the place. They're lesser Taurus demons, they're not as big. But they're just fucking Taurus demons. This place sucks. Also, it's very easy to aggro multiple at one time. If you want to be careful, you inch forward, you inch, and the instant you see one start to move, you back up. If you don't want to be careful, you just walk or run and aggro as many as happen, get gangbanged, and die. Up to you, really. They're not too hard to deal with, though. They are just lesser Taurus demons. By the way, I'll point it out, but the rest of the Demon Ruins is honestly not much better. Like, past here is just a fuck ton of Capra demons. And... there we go. I gotta say, when I heard the Dark Souls Remastered was coming out, I was like, for the love of God, fix the Demon Ruins. This game was unfinished. Finish it. Please. Please. And then I heard that, nah, it will not include any of that shit. It was given to a different studio to just give a touch-up. They will not be changing almost anything gameplay-wise, and I was disappointed as all hell. And I think that's the argument. You can make the argument of, oh, it was not their place to change things. And I agree. I don't think the studio they gave it to should have made a ton of changes to the gameplay, or level design, or anything. What I think the remastered should have been, is I think it should have been given to FromSoft. And they could make the goddamn changes. And they could finish their fucking game. That's what I think everyone wanted to see. Because this game, I still think it's the best game ever, for multiple reasons. But, a lot of people probably won't agree, and a big part of the reason will be that once you get past Anor Londo, the game has a significant, or a noticeable and somewhat significant drop in quality. It goes from being an absolute unarguable masterpiece of a game to a good one. It's still good, it's just very clearly unfinished. Very obviously unfinished. And they had a chance to fix that. They had a chance to finish the game, and they're like, nah, easy cash-in. As a result, I did not buy the DS Remastered for quite some time. I eventually bought it for super fucking cheap on a Steam sale. And I would not have given more money to the practice besides that, because the only franchise I ever have, and probably ever will, allow to pull the, we just released the same game again, now buy it for full price, is Pokemon. And honestly, I regret it even when I do it with them. I will say, though, at least they made the lava look good. Totally worth the remaster. They also... They didn't fix that, though. Fucking hell. Stupid game. Yeah, and as you can see, it's just a fucking Capra demon. These ones do respawn, the Taurus demons don't. And if we go a little further... Great view, by the way. Demon Ruins level, like, designed for what's in the level, unfinished and shit. The actual, like, level, though, the architecture, the look, it's pretty fucking good, man. This is a cool zone. This is a really cool zone. But yeah, that's just a bunch of Capra demons. Just a bunch of Capra demons. They decide they need enemies. They're like, what do we do? How about we just put a bunch of Capra demons? Don't even need to place them well, just throw them out. Shotgun them on. They took a fucking shotgun. They put it up to a drawing or a map or something of the area, and they just fired it, and they're like, okay, there's where your Capra demons are. And then they got arrested, because that's probably illegal in Japan. Maybe that's why the game was never finished. But yeah, lava hurts. You can, if you so desire, kill yourself or potentially live getting some of those items. They're not worth. The Chaos Ember is the only one that could potentially be worth anything here. You're supposed to come back once you have the lava resistance ring. I'm not gonna bother. None of the shit's worth the time. Then this is the last time we'll be visiting the Demon Ruins. We've beaten Ornstein and Smo and New Londo. Why, like, New Londo boss, not just... We've beaten the level, but still the boss. And you might ask, why New Londo? Well, Koth. We want to meet Koth. And we can't do that if we have let Frampt take us. We will not allow him our body. He does not get it. We value ourselves more than that around here. We do not just sell our body to creepy ballsack-faced snakes. We instead sell it to still creepy, but more honest ballsack-faced snakes. Although even then, you could debate how honest Koth is being. We don't really have a way to know. We just know, what we do know is that Frampt is not quite telling us the truth. He is spinning in the tail a little bit. It's like, oh yeah, you can replace Lord Gwyn. He's like, you mean I can replace the king of the gods? The ruler of Anor Londo and everything, seemingly? Well, no, what he means is you can set yourself on fire. Which, yeah, you're replacing him being on fire. I don't know, if someone came up to you and is like, yo, do you want to replace the king? You'd probably assuming he's talking about becoming the next king, not setting yourself on fire like the last king. So, given that, I think you could be understandably a bit pissed at the guy. And he's like, yeah, just go through this big old fucking difficult-ass quest where you're gonna die a shit ton so that you can replace the king in being on fire. No thanks. Like, even just beyond the thematic and moral and symbolic and decisions behind whether or not to kindle the flame or walk away, even just beyond that, fuck you, I don't want to be on fire, man. Which is why I feel like the canonical ending of this game should have been the fire goes out for good, there's an Age of Dark, and any Dark Souls sequels should have been set in the Age of Dark. DS2, I would argue, doesn't actually take place in the same universe. DS2 is in some weird alternate dimension. I do not treat DS2 as canon. And I think the game functions a lot better if you forget it's Dark Souls. If you say this is not even the same universe, this is not the same rules, it's not the same franchise, and you just play DS2 as its own game, I think it's a lot better. And honestly, I think they would have been better served making it its own game. And then DS3 is just, tee-hee, we made DS1 again. Aren't you happy now? No, I'm not. Also, they decided that this is, instead of a cool lore with a lot of thematics and room for interpretation, it just made no sense. They took away from people's feedback that when people were like, yeah, we really like the whole cryptic nature of Dark Souls lore, and finding your own clues and how things weren't clear and up to interpretation and all that shit, they're like, oh, so we hear you like the confusing nature of things, so we just made all of it be stupid and make no sense. Now you can get even more confused. Like, fuck you. Fuck you. You didn't want to make DS3, you shouldn't have made DS3. And you very clearly didn't want to make DS3. I especially don't think they wanted to make DS3, judging by the fact that DS3, half the time, forgets it's not Bloodborne. Like, the number of times I encounter an enemy and I'm just like, this would not have been out of place as a boss in Bloodborne, but it is complete shit in this game, was a lot higher than I'd like. Also, I like strength builds. I enjoy swinging big old weapons for giant damage numbers. And frankly, strength builds did not feel very good in DS3, especially against some bosses. Champion Gundyr was arguably the worst. You pretty much could not hit him without him hitting you back. And it made the fight a complete nightmare. Which, to add it on to that, my computer at the time, when I first got DS3, couldn't quite handle the game. So I was dropping mad frames in that fight. Like, it wasn't consistent, but periodically, oftentimes during his combo attacks, because that's when it gets the busiest, suddenly the thing would just freeze up for a bit. I would start losing frames, I'd go down to a PowerPoint for a few seconds, or maybe just a second, and I would have to dodge his attack based on what I thought was happening. That fight was the worst. It took so many tries. Holy shit. Anyways, see here, stop here. Do not go on that tree route. The game's, whatever the hitbox, whatever it's called, the ground, is dog shit. It does not work. You will slide off and you will die. Homeward bone. Or just don't even come down this path. There's nothing down here worth it. The robes of the sealer are cool. Honestly, the stats aren't even bad. I'm particularly fond of the waistcloth. Fashionable. That's the thing. Like, if you want to compare it, actually, if you want to compare the stats to Elite Knight, yeah, the waistcloth straight up has better physical defenses, and better defenses in basically every way than Elite Knight legs. And is lighter. It loses out only really in poise. Which, honestly, if we wanted, we could just go around like this. Height of fashion. But it won't be that useful in the grand scheme of things. There's also lore, because everything has lore. Actually, if there's a thought, what if we put on stone gauntlets, stone armor, stone helm, conceal medium roll, we look like shit. But let's fucking do it. Do I actually have the... No, honestly, I might have to wait for the leggings at this point. I don't know. Not quite. Honk. We're still level... I think 2 endurance levels off from having the carry capacity for this. If we had the FAP ring, we'd be more than fine at this point, but lacking that, oh well. Oh, I should get off this before I start playing around with anything. Alright, the next thing, though, that we're going to do is we're going to get that Firekeeper's Soul. Yeah, I'm just gonna change it. Why not? And then I'm gonna hope I don't die. Fuck off, mosquitoes. Just fuck off. Go to Spider Shield because Spider Shield is completely resistant to all poison and toxin and all that shit. Which we will need. We'll probably get toxic anyways. And actually for this... Alright, stuck on the floor, we're fine. Yeah, if you didn't notice the little mosquito wings flapping down there, it's stuck in the floor trying to get at me. I think highest poison res... black gold. Or gold black, I guess. So we're gonna go full gold black for the moment. Spooky. Because the only thing that matters here at the moment is poison resistance. We're gonna ignore that jerk, just temporarily. Not even poison. Toxic. But the resistances are linked together, so... As you can see, that did a shit ton of toxic damage. We're going to allow it to go down. It's not the end of the world if we get toxic procced, but we're going to assume it is. We just would rather not, honestly. We could just clear it, especially since we got a blooming purple and we already had a blooming purple, but I find it not entirely a waste of time. Ah, fuck. Now we're in deep shit. Fire dogs are a problem. Mosquito is trash. Mr. Toxie Boy up there has seen us. Lucky us. Versus the fire dogs specifically, we would actually like to have some poise, which our current armor does not. But you can't have everything in life. Now, if you're lucky, sometimes that guy will fall off. Oh shit, fuck me. We are not lucky. And yeah, that's a thing. And yep, that's why fire dogs are a pain in the ass without poise. There's still some more we'll have to deal with. We didn't have to. I dealt with them pretty alright, though. I've definitely died to those fire dogs before. Oh! Did our boy fall? I think he did. No, he just went back there. Okay, never mind. Why am I so bad at this? Fuck. Fuck. I mean, I'm not great at judging the distance, to be honest, to begin with, but I usually do not struggle this badly. 1 or 2 missed jumps is usually it. Including times I get smacked in the face by poison dirt. Also, what is that shit? Come on. Honestly, we don't even have to kill it. Like, we don't really benefit from killing that guy since we can probably just avoid getting toxined without him and get the stuff and get out. I just am vindictive and these guys don't respond, so... There we go. These guys are a lot easier if you have light weapons, but it's not strictly necessary. And we don't have any weapons besides our Vi, so who cares? Who gives a shit, man? Oi. Did he fall? Where's that coming from? That bothers me. I don't know. Whatever. Fuck off. That's what we came for. Who is shooting at us? There shouldn't be any left. Color me just a tad unnerved. They're all dead, though. What the fuck? I'm not missing anything, am I? Where were those? Were those coming through the wall? But the angle doesn't seem right for that. That's fucked up, man. That's super fucked up. Ah, whatever. Long way around to get that. Whatever. Alright, we look like shit, but we have defense. It's my ass-kicking outfit, bitch. Next up, Sens. I think we can get through Sens in the time we have left. Shouldn't be too hard. Sens Fortress is more than arguably any other part of this game, even though this is true for the game as a whole. This game is very knowledge-based. Knowing what to do is honestly most of just what I would call skill in this game. Execution is not that important. This game is not that hard to execute on. DS was ultra true for DS1. Least true probably for Sekiro. Sens, though, that's true for Sens more than any of the other places. Knowing what to do with Sens is a huge part of the battle. It just makes so much of a difference. Ouchies, that really hurt. I'm dead now. Take a little sippy. We don't have the bonfire to work with in Firelink Shrine anymore. Lautrec has done the deed. That Firekeeper had served him well, apparently. I don't want to think about possible meanings of... Oh, actually, I'm too late. I've already thought about it, but let's not go into possible interpretations of that. Or about doing the deed in that regard either, but nonetheless, he did it. And she is now dead. Don't do Lautrec, man. Lautrec, not even once. Take another drink. And there's her stuff with a black eye ore. What could that be? I think it's down here. Maybe I'm wrong. No, it was up here. Invade the world of the murder of a Firekeeper to defeat the Penetrator and reclaim the soul. The Black Eye keeps constant watch on the city of the gods and Londo. What this is telling you is, hey, the murderer's in Anar Londo. Just fucking go for it, man. Go for it. Kill him. Get her back. And you have extra incentive to do so because no Firekeeper, no bonfire. And that is bad.
Did you ring the second bell? That is incredible, I must say. But now we have a new problem. It's noisy, it snores, and its breath is lethal. This is no laughing matter, I tell you.
Yep, there's a new resident of this place. If you remember the snoring, well, the source of the snoring has now appeared. Creepy ballsack face snake. We're not going to deal with him.
Damn, that stench. And I was really beginning to like it here. Maybe it's time I do something about it.
Maybe it's time I do something about it. And this is the last we'll see of him.
Me?
Bye, friend. It was good while it lasted. We'll not see him again. At least not sane, not altogether, not who he was. He's going to try and do something, and he's going to fail again, and he's going to give up for good this time. He will, I guess, he will lose a place he actually grew to like, or he'll essentially lose it because of a new arrival. He'll attempt to do something about it. He will fail, and that will be the end for him. He will give up entirely. A bit sad, really. We're gonna kill this guy for no reason. We're gonna miss entirely first, but hey, that's fine. We're gonna let that guy live. He'll be forever cursed with the knowledge of what we have done to his friends, burdened by survivor's guilt. Sucks to be him. But the whims... the whims of the player are quite capricious. We're gonna kindle this. We're gonna get this up to 20. Why? Because Sen's Fortress, if you don't know what you're doing, is best tackled with a lot of Estus. 20 is overkill. Honestly, there's very few times in this game where 20 Estus is ever going to be necessary. Unless you are playing just very poorly. But it doesn't hurt. So why not? Sen's Fortress. Let's see if we can clear it in 20 minutes. It'll be a bit of a tough one, but... First things first, but we're not going to just rush it. We want to show it off anyways. Snack. Big old man snack. Now if you step on that little floor bit... Okay, I don't know how it missed the snack, but whatever. Alright, these guys... They're big. They have a decent amount of HP. They have quite a bit of poise. Now, the Vi can get around that, but a lot of weapons can't. They are parryable, though. Likewise, they are backstabbable, I do believe. Although I don't backstab frequently. That's a little hole where the darts came out. Usually they hit the snack. I'm a bit sad. Angle wasn't quite, or the alignment wasn't quite right. And yep, welcome to Sen's Fortress. This bit here kind of sums up about what it's like. To be honest. Fortunately, this Vi does quite well. As it does in all things. You can drop down there, and in fact, I recommend eventually doing so. It's not something we ourselves will be doing quite yet. You can get by 2 of these in one go. If you time it right, Jerksneck, the mage here, will oftentimes hit those as you saw, but even if you don't time it right, it doesn't do enough damage with our setup to matter. Also, button. Raised floor, hole in wall. pretty fucking obvious if you're paying attention. But the first time, if you're like me, you probably won't be paying attention. I want to start something off that's kind of cool with this guy. Let me see if let's try this. And I could just kill him, or there we go. He can smash. Pa! Idiot. He can smash the wall. That's something I'm guessing a lot of people actually. There's a decent chance a lot of people don't know. That's not the way you're supposed to smash the wall, but it works.
You seem quite easy. A rare thing in these times. I am Logan. I'm a bit cooped up, as you can see. I have a bright idea. Suppose you set me free. I'm old and empty-handed, but I could repay you with knowledge and sorcery. This place is melting my mind. The inactivity is repressive.
Big Hat Logan. We'll have heard about him before. We meet him in the flesh. As you see, we can open that cage with the master key. So let's open this one. Master key's pretty nice, isn't it? I'm not going to say you're not supposed to. It's obviously designed that the master key works with this cage. But you're supposed to get the key from, like, way off in a different part of the level. And then come back here for him. And we don't have to.
Oh, heavens. Thank you. I'm safe. And I'd love to resume my travels. But I must log a few things first. And I owe you a favor. I will return to Firelink Shrine. Speak with me there, so that I may impart my sorcery.
Yep. He heads back to Firelink Shrine. And if you talk to him, he will teach you magic if your int is high enough. Ours is not. So he'll just be like, I'm sorry, you're too much of a dumbass. Fuck off. That's cool, by the way. I think that's a really cool touch. You come up here, you see the snake, you're probably getting ready to defend yourself, when a big fuck off boulder hits it in the face. This is a very good way of telling you, hey, there's a big old fuck off boulder here, and it will kick your ass if you don't watch out for it. This game is really well designed. That was really smooth of you there, Snake Mage. Real smooth. Normally the jerk just sort of stays up there and shoots magic, at least until you hide away for a bit and then she comes after you. This one, I suppose, was especially impatient. I think we can make it. Up here there is a trash. Not a very useful one, but better than nothing. We could equip it if we want. Don't actually need the Ring of Evil Eye, to be honest, so fuck it, why not? This takes our physical defense up by 50. A not totally inconsiderable increase. But, oh, I rolled off the wrong spot, fuck me. I forgot. I'll come back here and show off the proper spot. But first...
Oh ho! Ah, where did you come from? Splendid news, I tell you.
Stimulating conversation. Better yet, scintillating.
Ah, so you see my plight. Yes, indeed. I've run up against a wall, or a ball to be precise. I'm afraid I'm a bit too tough to be outrunning those things. So here I sit in quite a pickle, but who knows? Perhaps we'll have another development.
Sigmire, he's like, oh. I sat and waited while thinking and kind of dozing off. And something good happened, and I was able to progress. Let's do it again. Let's sit and wait and think. And eventually something good will happen, and I'll be able to progress. This is not how you get ahead. Unfortunately. I wish it was. Sounds good to me. But, unfortunately, that's not how it works. By the way, arrow slot. Raised floor. Also snack to even more extra distract you. That is a nasty fucking trap. I like it. But we're too smart for it. Yes, Siegmeyer is a good sword. I like him a lot. This is not the way you win in this game. We would get nowhere if we did Siegmeyer's route. By the way, if you keep trying, you usually get hit by a boulder there. We are instead gonna drop off here. All the times I've tried to drop that bit, I don't think I have once succeeded. Now, we'll go the right way first, I guess. Black Sorcerer Stone. I'm going to take a look at this just briefly. Sorcerer at the Vinheim Dragon School. They work with sound-based spells and never reveal themselves. These are by proper sorcerers who studied at Vinheim. And they look down on breaking the formal dress code established for sorcerers. These two things tell you a lot of shit. First off, Black Sorcerer hat, I mean, it's close, but it's a bit different. So they are probably looked down somewhat upon. They use sound-based spells, they don't reveal themselves. They are assassins. Our Mage Apprentice boy is wearing this set. Draw your own conclusions. Secondly, they look down on breaking formal dress code. A big fucking hat with a big old brim is probably breaking formal dress code. Logan is a bit of an outcast. Or at least, he is someone who flaunts in their faces that he does not give a shit about what they think. He finds them stupid, odious, and completely and utterly forgettable and ignorable. That's going a bit far, and that's not entirely true. But Logan's attitude towards his fellow sorcerers is, these people are a bunch of fucking idiots. They're complete fucking idiots. Sorcery, as has been done for quite some time, it was refined long ago to be powerful offensive spells. That you wave the magic wand and you say the right words and the magic happens, and most of them don't really understand why. Logan comes along, and Logan is a very smart boy. Logan realizes, or studies magic, he starts to figure out how it works, and Logan makes his own spells. The first one in probably quite some time to do so. Logan's spells are also very powerful. The Soul Spear is said to rival the Lightning Bolts of Gwyn, King of the Gods, and owner of the most powerful of the Lord Souls. Logan is a fucking beast, man. At least his magic is. And the guy is kind of a genius. But he looks around himself. He sees a bunch of sorcerers who just wave the magic wand and the magic happens. And he's like, these guys are fucking idiots, and they keep trying to talk to me, and I want nothing to do with them. So he puts a big hat over his head, hiding his face, so he doesn't have to deal with their shit. Or at least he can somewhat ignore them. Anyways, we came back over here to grab the ring. I'll show what it does, and we're never going to use it ever, probably. Secretly worn by a certain surreptitious sorcerer at Vinheim Dragon School. The ring is engraved with an everlasting dragon in silent slumber, and masks all sound emitting from its wearer. This is an assassin's ring. Combined with the Ring of Fog, it actually makes you kind of a stealth build, kind of. But it's of no use to us. Because again, Havel's Fap Ring is just too good. We're probably gonna... Oh, fuck off! This bit's a little annoying. The fall damage is honestly the biggest problem. Sorcerer fight is not actually that challenging, as long as you stay a little light on your feet. But the fall damage on top of it is pretty bad. We're gonna run Rusted Iron for this next little bit. Because if you don't have rusted iron, this tar makes you real slow. And you're not going to want to be real slow for this next bit. Can I still roll? Okay. Yes, down here we have Titanite demons. He's thinking about his jump. Knew it. Ha. An actual sort of scythe. Well, actually, that's funny. That's not a scythe. That's a halberd, but it's called a scythe. I don't quite understand, but I don't need to. How the fuck did that stagger you? Whatever, doesn't matter. Die. These guys are no pushovers. Well, the ones here, the ones that I just killed aren't that bad. I think it was just the two, but... There's another two over here that are considerably tougher, and it can be kind of difficult to fight them. Because it's tricky to get the one to fight you without being close enough to aggro the other. He's going to make the jump. Called it. Yeah, that jumpy shit is so bullshit, man. Just, yeah, it's gonna hop away and evade my attack. It's just gonna give iframes. Like, I think the idea is the player can do rolls in iframes because the player doesn't have the completely stupid stats that a lot of enemies might. And there's only one of you and a lot of them. You're supposed to have a bit of an advantage. So I don't like enemies that will sometimes decide to just not take damage. Like, fuck, you can't even do that. With a lot of times. A lot of your attacks have a lot of end lag. Arguably more end lag than some of these things' attacks have. I just don't like it when an enemy can just decide it's not gonna take damage this time. Like, that time I hit it, but as you can see, it jumps back almost immediately. Like, the fuck is up with that? Fuck off. Okay. I did hit the button to one hand, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway, as I didn't have the stamina. Probably. And even though I got hit, it really doesn't matter anyways. So who cares? And yeah, there's not actually, like, items in this bit. It's just Demon Titanite. They won't respawn. There's only one respawning Titanite demon. Only one source of Demon Titanite. Or farmable Demon Titanite, I should clarify. And we got a bit of an illusory wall coming up. It's kind of obvious, though. If there was a single illusory wall in this game you're likely to find, it's probably that one. It's a big boy. He is, however, very vulnerable to the strat of just running between his legs. RIP giant that opened the gate. Thanks for the chunk. Don't need it. So we already farmed all the ones we needed. To be honest, we didn't actually need to farm all of them from the Dark Race. There are things that'll give us... I mean, there are definitely things that'll give us Titanite chunks coming up. But why not? It's an easy enough farm, doesn't take that long, and gives some decent souls. Back along this shit. No enemies to fight now. There's a little item over there. Don't try and jump for it. Not gonna lie, backtracking in Sen's Fortress always feels just the slightest bit weird to me. Because these traps don't feel right. By the way, some of these are set. Just saying. Traps don't feel right unless there's like a bajillion enemies trying to carve your face up while you're dodging them. Oh, I didn't shift. Wait. Hear that? Sound of boulders. Doesn't look like it's turning. Oftentimes the boulder machine, or maybe it already did turn. The boulder machine will turn itself. Oh, you heard it there. That. Is it going to come down here? It's turning again. Yep, I kind of saw that coming. I'm about to get splattered. Fortunately, we're tanks, so we're still alive, but we're going to make a run for it. It's fine. We want to be down here anyways, so it's not the biggest deal. And this is why you have Estus flasks. Yeah, you could hear it, maybe, the boulder machine will turn itself as you move throughout the fortress. Which is a little stupid, honestly, but whatever. Like, after turning itself as you to the point where you've gotten to it and turned it on your own is one thing, but once you've turned it, like, come on, man. Just make it stay in place until I turn it again. May have an enemy that was operating it or something. Also, as you can see, that hole is now filled. Which means one more boulder, and boom. The wall breaks. And we get the Covetous Gold Serpent Ring. Increases drop rate. Pretty nice item for farming items. Don't run down there, by the way. I once tried, knowing I'd probably die doing it, to see if there's anything there. There isn't. There's absolutely nothing. It is just a death trap. Alright. The most suspicious chest you will ever see. Look how out of place it is. I've heard completely like, oh, this is bullshit. How are you supposed to know this is a trap? My question is, how are you supposed to know this isn't a trap? Or how are you not supposed to know this is a trap? Am I saying that right? How are you not supposed to... Ah, fuck, who cares? This is so obvious. It's in the middle of the room. It looks... It's kind of askew. This room is weird and a mess. Everything about this chest screams trap. Also, if you look carefully, the chain is in a different position than other chests. The chain on most chests is curled back around here. This chain goes out here. That is indication that this is a mimic. Now, you might not know it is specifically a mimic, but mimics are not exactly a new concept or an uncommon concept, so you have a decent shot at figuring it out. Also, see this? There's a big old fucking blood splatter on this elevator. And if you watch it go up, it goes up, it goes up. It stops, and then it goes up a little more. And it stops and it comes back down. This elevator is suspicious as hell. You should also be able to see this coming. You should be like, this elevator is suspicious as fuck. I need to get out of it immediately. And if you look up, oh, there's spikes up there. What do you know? All of Sen's Fortress traps, honestly, are fair. If you are paying attention, if you are watching, you will see them coming. Sen's Fortress is fair. It's sadistic as fuck. I had an absolutely horrible time on my first time through this place. It felt awful. I love the experience looking back on it, though. It was truly sadistic in a way I could appreciate. And in overall, I think I had a lot of fun with it. Just At the time, it didn't feel like that. It's like the time I did marching band practice in the remains of a hurricane, under an absolutely torrential rainfall that eventually led to straight up like a foot of water at some parts in the parking lot we were practicing in. At the time, it was one of the worst experiences of my life. I hated it. I have no clue our band director made us do, like, the full practice time under that fucking rain, especially when it got to the point where you could barely see where you were or where anything else around you was. But, looking back, it was an experience. I'm not gonna say I'm glad I had it, per se, at least for that one, because I don't think I gained a lot, but it makes a good story. And it's kind of fun to look back on it, like, yeah, that fucking sucked. That was the worst. That was so dumb. Why did we do that? I had to spend 30 minutes drying out my sousaphone after that. And yeah, this is like one part where honestly having a ranged weapon to just deal with that jerk is quite handy. Not necessary, though. Also, yeah, obvious. It's 12 o'clock, so I should probably stop. Let's try and clear sends first. We're not that far off. God, it's not the end of the world to go a bit late. That one also fired. There's also a little trap spot there, if you didn't notice. We're not going to go down this way quite yet. Actually, no, let's just do it. Nah, we'll show it off later anyways. We're going to go around here. Make this fast, by the way. You'll probably hear why in a second. This giant throwing fire bombs. Now we're going to walk just over the lit tip here. Light bonfire. Now, this bonfire is completely unnecessary if you are confident in your skills. We're going to say you probably aren't. This way, if you die, you don't have to go back through the entirety of Sen's Fortress again. Which, honestly, in the grand scheme of things, is not that bad. But if you're new to this and you've already done it, probably sounds like the worst. Just the absolute worst. When I reached this point, when I was first through here, and it felt like absolute hell on earth, my entire body was crying out in agony for a bonfire, I would not have wanted to do it all again. Anyways, firebombing giant is honestly not a problem if you're fast. If you wait, and he starts firebombing the place that's in front of you, which he will do, it gets a lot trickier. There's a knight Bernike? I don't fucking know, I'm not French. Berenike? I don't know. Oh, don't you drink on me. Only I'm allowed to drink. I do like that they gave some of the humanoid undead enemies Estus, though. It kind of reinforces Estus as like, yeah, this is... As like Oscar called it, an undead special. This is something the undead like. And you're not the only undead. Kind of reinforces that. You're not special. Also, that was Prince Ricard. He's fucking dead now. Goodbye, Prince Ricard. And also, I'll show you the chest. That's what a proper chest chain looks like. These are not mimics. Honestly, stuff's not bad. We're not going to ever use a Divine Blessing ever. I'm genuinely not sure if I've used a single Divine Blessing in all my 100-something, 200-something hours playing this game. They're very strong, and that's why I don't use them. It feels like a waste to use them for literally anything, because it's total full heal. Which, when you think about it, is, well, what's a waste is to not use this strong item, but... the hoarder side of me does not quite agree. It says, this thing is big and spook. You must get ultra value out of it. It must save the playthrough. Which is obviously horseshit. I'm going to test something real quick. I don't think... Oh yeah, also, this bit down here, this has no purpose. There's just an enemy. This enemy does not aggro if you don't run down here. There's no item. There's no illusory wall. There's nothing. This whole little stretch is pointless. I have no clue why there's an enemy here. Who cares, I guess. Might have been intended to be an item there and they just fucked up or something. I don't know. I don't believe these can be unlocked. Yeah. Master Key might open Logan's cage. It does not open that cage. So... Actually, we do have a choice. We can kill the giant first, but he hasn't really been troubling us, so we're just going to do this first. Hey, we made it. I do not always make that jump. Yeah, by the way, the giant firebombs that location. Just heads up there. And there's this jerk.
Ah, what? What? Who are you? Ah, another undead, eh? I took on Sen's fortress alone, but I'm no different from those vile creatures. I was driven by conceit. Ah, you think you're different? That you can handle it? Yes, I remember that feeling. For I was the same. So, let me help you out with your soul searching.
This guy's a loser.
Nothing more to say. I'm finished. We're both on the brink, you see. End of story. You bloody fool. Let me give you a nibble of advice. Don't even consider visiting Anor Londo. Not in your state. For a century they've tried and failed. The Night King Rendell, Black Iron Tarkus, and even Logan himself. You won't stand a chance, you'll be nice. But go along if you wish. If only to deepen your despair.
Yeah, this guy's a loser who gave up. And then he's like, hey, you should also give up. I don't want to see you succeed. Maybe he doesn't say that directly, but he's like, yeah, just give up like me. Fuck you, you suck, give up. But he's at least some decent shit. Balder Shield's a pretty good shield. That's the only place you can buy it. You can also buy Katarina armor from him if you ever want to. You can buy Balder and steal stuff. This is, I think, the only place you can get Katarina armor. So if you want to look like an onion.
Nothing at all. Fine then.
Gotta come to him. He's not what we're here for, though. Yeah, die. What we're here for is the cage key. A cage key, as you might guess, unlocks cages. Who could have guessed? No, right? Shocking. But we already have the master key, so a couple of the cages unlocked, so it's not what we're after. By the way, we're going to fall here. Chances are you're going to miss the jump at some point and end up here anyways, but that black scorch mark makes me not want to stand there. But I'm not actually sure if the giant will bomb it for sure or not. Let's stick around and see. Doesn't appear to. This guy's a jerk, though. Just hanging out trying to ambush you. Fuck off. There's another jerk around the corner here. And we just got 2 items we'll never use. Go us. If you don't have the master key, Kate, which you should. Honestly, there's not a lot of reasons not to, but especially at this point, I think you can even buy it. You can buy it from Dom Hall the Wise after he starts selling boss equipment. But let's say you don't have it yet, or you don't have it for some reason. You need the cage key to get out Big Hat Logan. But even with the master key, you need the cage key to unlock the shortcut of Sen's Fortress, which I will show off now. Boosh. And take a nice little ride. This is a really cool shortcut. What up? There's a snack a lot. The snacks are all back because we sat down. Fuck off. Now, if you're lacking in Estus, or not, the distance between from this bonfire to the boss and the other bonfire to the boss is maybe similar. But if you're lacking in Estus, you can go sit at the other bonfire and get it back. We're not gonna bother. As long as we just keep moving and quickly, we don't have to fear the firebomber. It's like the only crossbow knight of the Baldur Knight variety that I can think of. Now let's kill the firebomber. And there's the boss. Also, this is an even better view of the giant that puts stones into the hole for the boulder kicker to fire off. You can actually jump over there and kill him, but there's no items and he respawns, so why bother? Really just no point in it. If you're human, you have the option of going over here and summoning Black Iron Tarkus. Or I guess Iron Tarkus he's called here. He's a cool dude. He has I think it's a 50-50 shot whether actually he'll do it. He is capable of soloing this boss. Doesn't even need your help. He's just that much of a badass. We're gonna lure this guy out a bit too much to the middle. The only way you're likely to pretty much any build is likely to die this guy is getting thrown off the edge. Which works on us just as well as any other build. Although if you do want to... It is one viable way to kill him is to fight him over by the edge there. And then if you can get him to stagger like that, and he falls, you can potentially get him to fall off the edge and die. That's how Tarkus usually wins, if Tarkus wins. We really do not need to do that, as you can see. This boss is a joke. Yay! 40k souls. Examine the Ring of Light. A little bit of the ONS musical sting is noted and appreciated. And Londo is gorgeous, though. This is such a good view. Just look at it, like... This is such a cool moment. You cleared the proving ground that is Sen's fortress, and this is your reward. And it is beautiful. City of the Gods. But it's all a lie. This guy will not aggro if you don't get too close. Same with those. And we'll be dealing with them next time anyways. Right now there's no reason to. It's a Farkeeper.
Well, you are a rare visitor. Welcome to the lost city of Londo. chosen undead. If you seek Lord Gwyn's old keep, exit here and head straight yonder. If you are the chosen one, a revelation shall visit thee. What follows thereafter depends upon you.
Oh well.
What is it? What am I? Well, I am the keeper of the bonfire. If not for me, what beacon would there be in this lost city? A gatekeeper and a guide. That is my calling.
She is the next cog in the perhaps not the best oiled machine that's trying to direct you into setting yourself on fire.
The bonfires attended by the keepers are special. They are linked to one another, and their flames never die. Yet never shall the keepers of these flames meet. If you require rest, now is the time. That is, after all, what the bonfire is for.
We rest. We level up. The stone legs. I believe we now can. Yeah. I've had the rusted iron this whole time. Fuck me. We'll put on steel protection again. And we look ugly as sin. But when we come back next, and Londo.